The survival of South Africa's World Heritage Site, Isimangaliso Wetland Park, depends on the successful implementation of the climate change strategy and the park's commercialisation project for sustainability. That's according to the park's CEO. Biodiversity, natural beauty and unique ecological processes make Isimangaliso, located in KwaZulu-Natal's north coast, stand out. However, prolonged droughts and rapidly changing weather patterns pose a threat to biodiversity. Isimangaliso is home to some rare and well-protected species and marine protected areas. eNCA senior reporter Siphamandla Goge reports.
This German wonder, Isimangaliso Wetland Park, is South Africa's first World Heritage Site declared by UNESCO in 1999. Three key values led to the park being proclaimed as a World Heritage Site.
One of them being biodiversity. We were just exploring the park and we saw different types of animals, we saw different types of trees. Two, it's something called superlative natural beauty. If you're here, it's more like in Mauritius for honeymoon. You can see dunes, you can see the lakes, you can see different types of ecosystem. Three, it's something called unique ecological and biological process. And I said the Lake St. Lucia on its own, it's an example of the unique ecological and biological process because it is made up of two types of water. There is a fresh water from four, I think if not 4 or 5 major freshwater catchments that we have. And then we have salt water from the Indian Ocean. If you have that combination, it's wonderful because it means you'd have animals that love fresh water that are going to survive here and those that love salt water that are going to survive here as well. So that combination is the one which also attracts tourists from all walks of life.
Isimangaliso has some marine protected areas and species, making the underwater marine life in the coral reefs a sight to behold. The park's draw card for underwater species is the very rare coelacanth fish, once thought to have been extinct.
The coelacanth is a special fish which has been here for a very long time, about 100 years and above. You find it in well-managed and protected, well-protected and managed coral reefs. If you go to Sodwana, for instance, there are thousands and thousands of tourists who are flocking to Sodwana from all over the world to dive into the well-protected and well-managed seawater just to see this special fish called coelacanth. So that's one big fish that we have in this park, which we are very proud of and which is bringing a lot of money for us as an entity, but also creating a lot of employment opportunities. As I said, ecotourism seems to be one of the biggest ways of generating money and responding to a number of issues that we have as a country.
Isimangaliso Wetland Park is regarded as the most strategic breeding site for waterbirds in the country, with the presence of globally threatened and range-restricted species. The park also boasts of a rare breed of animals, making for beautiful wildlife views. But the impact of drought and climate change on South Africa's first World Heritage Site has raised concerns about the park's long-term sustainability.
It's also in our APPs to come up with climate change strategies. For instance, if you come to our case in Isimangaliso, you will now realize that if you go to certain areas, we've got green energy strategies where instead of using electricity grid from the grid, we are now using a solar powered energy to pump water from the boreholes, to give light to some of the field rangers out in the field. Those are things that we do. The light bulbs that we use are energy efficient. We stick to that strategy. Even in our management of the park itself, we try our level best to reduce the emissions, the level of emissions, just to make sure that we don't contribute in the pollution, which unfortunately later affects or contributes to these issues of climate change. So that's how we deal with it as an entity going forward.
Other challenges facing the park are the invasive alien plants, forcing the park's management to employ locals to remove them. Despite being hit by COVID-19 and now suffering like all other businesses due to power blackouts, the park's management says tourist numbers look positive and promising. Siphamandla Goge, St. Lucia, KwaZulu-Natal.